I wouldn't say waved off. I'm not in a rush to do it because I think that Iran has a chance to have a great country and to live happily without death. And I'd like to see that. That's my first option. If there's a second option, I think it would be very bad for Iran. And I think Iran is wanting to talk. I hope they're wanting to talk. It's going to be very good for them if they do. And I'd like to see Iran thrive in the future, do fantastically well.
US President Donald Trump has blocked Israeli plans to launch a military strike against Iranian nuclear sites and instead urged renewed diplomatic engagement with Tehran. The decision follows months of internal deliberations within the White House over whether to back Israeli military action or prioritize negotiations. According to officials cited by the New York Times, Israel had prepared for a potential strike as early as May, under the assumption of American support. However, most of the proposed operations required direct US involvement for logistical success and regional stability.
I wouldn't say waved off. I'm not in a rush to do it because I think that Iran has a chance to have a great country and to live happily without death. And I'd like to see that. That's my first option. If there's a second option, I think it would be very bad for Iran. And I think Iran is wanting to talk. I hope they're wanting to talk. It's going to be very good for them if they do. And I'd like to see Iran thrive in the future, do fantastically well.
During Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's visit to Washington on the 7th of April, the two leaders met in the Oval Office. There, Trump informed Netanyahu that the US would not participate in or endorse an Israeli strike at this time. Following the meeting, Netanyahu made a public statement in Hebrew, asserting that any future deal with Iran must lead to the complete dismantling of Iran's nuclear infrastructure, under American supervision and enforcement. Israel's motivation for a swift strike was influenced by a recent shift in regional power dynamics. Iranian missile attacks in April were largely unsuccessful. Hezbollah forces had suffered serious losses at the hands of Israeli forces, and Syria's President Bashar al-Assad, an Iranian ally, had lost power. In addition, key missile fuel production facilities in both Iran and Syria were destroyed. Initially, Israel intended to launch a complex, multi-phase mission involving special forces targeting underground nuclear facilities, supported by an extended bombing campaign. However, those special operations units would not be combat-ready until October, prompting Israeli leadership to explore faster alternatives, all of which still depended on US assistance. Despite rejecting immediate military involvement, Trump did not rule out future action if diplomacy fails. In his words, "If it requires military, we're going to have military. Israel will obviously be the leader of that." While discussions with Tehran remain in early stages, the US president revealed the beginning of indirect talks, mediated through a letter sent to Iran in March. Though initially dismissed by Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, a senior Iranian official later responded, signaling willingness for mediated dialogue. To explore non-military options, Trump dispatched CIA Director John Ratcliffe to Jerusalem for further discussions. Ratcliffe held meetings with Prime Minister Netanyahu and Mossad Director David Barnea. The agenda reportedly included exploring covert operations and the potential expansion of sanctions should diplomacy falter. This approach was reinforced by new intelligence presented by Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard. She warned that a US-backed strike could escalate into a broader regional conflict, advising caution and patience. Though pursuing diplomacy, the US has not reduced its military posture in the region. 2 aircraft carriers, advanced missile defense systems, and B-2 bombers capable of targeting hardened underground sites remain deployed. Publicly, these assets were moved to address threats from Houthi militants in Yemen. Privately, they are intended as a contingency against Iranian escalation.